Hello friends, our today's topic of discussion is FSK, that is frequency shift keying. The objectives of today's lecture are to understand the concept of FSK and to study the generation and detection of FSK as well as signal space representation of FSK. Now, frequency shift keying. In binary frequency shift keying, that is BFSK or only FSK, the frequency of sinusoidal carrier is shifted between two discrete values. One of these frequencies, FH, represents a binary 1 and the other value FL represents a binary 0. The representation of digital data using FSK can be observed with the help of FSK transmitters over here. At a frequency shift keying, each digital symbol has its own carrier signal frequency matching it. Manipulated signal amplitude and phase stay the same. The FSK is a signal transform method when the carrying oscillation frequency changes abruptly depending on the discrete data messages. So simply, the FSK transmitter has two carrier frequencies, one high carrier frequency, another is low carrier frequency with the binary messages, that is obviously either 1 or 0 bits. And depending on that, one of the carrier frequency will be selected over here and that will be available at the output side. Now here, before observing the generation of FSK, we need to find out the signals which are derived from the D of T, that is data bits. So if we are going to use PH of T and PL of T over here, so for that how to find out that what will be the bits for these two. So if binary 0 is transmitted over here, the value of the D of T will be -1 volt. And how to represent this in the form of PH of T and PL of T, that is PH of T will be 0 and PL of T will be now 1 over here. Now whenever binary 1 is transmitted over here, the value of D of T will be obviously +1 volts and similarly PH of T will be like 1 over here and in this case PL of T will be 0 over here. So it's inverse of your binary 0, that is here for the binary 1 PH of T is 1 and PL of T is 0 and the inverse is true for the binary 0. Now coming towards the generation of FSK. Now it's very simple that we can see it consists of two oscillators which produce carriers at present frequencies FH and FL respectively. The oscillator outputs here, they are applied to the inputs of the multipliers or sometimes they are known as a balanced modulators. The other input to the multiplier is they are derived from the D of T, that is the signals PH of T and PL of T. Now we can observe the oscillator 1, it is generating the signal, that is one of the carrier frequency U1 of T, that is nothing but under root of 2 by TB cos omega HT. Similarly at this stage, that is output of the second oscillator is U2 of T, whereas it is equal to under root of 2 by TB cos omega LT. Now you can find out the output of input to the first multiplier or upper multiplier, that is under root of PSTB into PH of T. That already we have seen what will be the PH of T when binary 0 is transmitted and binary 1 is transmitted. Now that is known to us. Now the second multiplier input is under root of PSTB PL of T over here. The output of the first multiplier you can find out under root of 2 PS, because this TB and this TB will get cancelled out and then what we are getting under root of 2 PS into PH of T into cos omega HT. Similarly at the downside again we are getting under root of 2 PS PL of T cos omega LT. So these two are given to the adder and then we are getting output, that is BPS. Now it's very simple. If your binary 0 is transmitted, PH of T will be 0 and 0 multiplied with this carrier will be 0 itself. So whenever this signal is present, this will be absent and whenever this PL of T will be present, PH of T will be absent. So which signal we are transmitting? That is depending on this bit. If the bit is 1, then omega h will be transmitted, or this component will be transmitted. And if your bit is 0, that is binary 0, then this signal will be transmitted over here. And in this way we are getting our signal VBPSK. Now we can see the waveforms of FSK. So it's as simple as you are getting only two carrier frequencies, omega h and omega L, or you can say like FH and FL. That's it, depending on the transmission of bits over here. So here we can see that is in the first signal which is shown over here. This is FSK signal. Here you can simply see that is F1 and F2. F2 is low carrier frequency, whereas F1 is high carrier frequency. Now, for the bit, this is actually our binary input. So, if input is, or bit stream is, for example, it is 0 initially. So, if it is 0, the low carrier frequency will be transmitted. That means this bit will be 0 and only this will be present at the input of the adder, and so you are getting this low frequency signal as out. Similarly, whenever 1 is transmitted, it's the difference we can see easily. That is, this is higher frequency and this is lower frequency. So whenever 1 is transmitted for this much time period, what we are getting? F1 over here. Again, after this 0 is transmitted for this much time period, and we are getting a low frequency, that is F2 over here. So in FSK, what we are getting? The changes in the frequencies. High frequency, low frequency. High frequency for binary 1 transmission, low frequency signals for binary 0 transmission. There is no change in the amplitude, there is no phase shift over here, only changes in the frequency. So the name is given, that is FSK, frequency shift keying over here. So this is the waveform of FSK. Now we can see the spectrum of FSK or BFSK. The difference, if you see in the BPSK and BFSK, in BPSK the signal B of T is bipolar, which alternates between +1 and -1. Whereas in BFSK, the two signals PH of T and PL of T are polar, alternating between 0 and +1 only. So now we can write that is PH of T is nothing but half of P dash of HT. So similarly for low signal, that is where what we can do, we can find out the bipolar variables over here, that is P dash of HT and P dash LT. These are bipolar variables for you. And with that, with the help of these two, we can rewrite our BFSK equation, that is under root of PS by 2 cos of omega HT plus theta H. Similarly, under root of PS by 2 cos of omega LT plus theta L. The third term under root of PS by 2 P dash HT cos of omega HT plus theta H. And similarly, under root of PS by 2 P dash LT cos of omega LT plus theta. Now, with the help of this equation, we can draw the spectrum of BFSK signal. So, the power spectral density is shown over here, that is as FSK. From this, we can find out that is bandwidth of FSK is 4 dB. Actually, the first term, it will produce a PSD which consists of an impulse at FH. This second term, which consists, or it will produce a PSD which consists of an impulse at FL over here. And the third term and fourth term together will produce the frequency spectrum of FSK over here. The individual PSDs, or we can say the impulses, are representing the first and second term, and with the third and fourth term combiningly, it will result in this frequency spectrum of FSK. Now, turning towards the next part of BPSK, that is BFSK receiver over here. Here in this block diagram, it is supposed to regenerate the original digital data signal from the BFSK signal at its input. And now the received BFSK signal is denoted with what? X of t over here. And it is applied to the two correlators. These correlators are supplied with locally generated coherent reference signals phi1 of t or u1 and u2 of t. So here we have considered, for example, u1 of t, that is nothing but under root of 2 by tb cos omega ht. Whereas you can find out the another carrier under root of 2 by tb cos omega lt over here. Now these two signals are applied where? To the integrators. Here we can easily find out the output of the integrators. Actually, the multiplier plus this integrator, this is known as a correlator. So we are having two correlators over here. This is one correlator and this is combiningly known as a correlator 2. So output of first correlator is x1, whereas output of second correlator is x2 over here. The output of two correlators are then subtracted to get a signal that is nothing but x3, whereas x3 is equal to x1 minus x2. Then that is applied to a decision device over here where threshold is of 0 volts. So the output which we are getting, that is 1 if x3 is greater than 0, and the output will be 0 if x3 is less than 0. The signal x3 is then applied over here to the decision device over here. And it will compare it with the threshold level 0 volts. If x3 is greater than 0, then the device decides that a 1 was transmitted, whereas if x3 is less than 0, then the decision is made in the favor of a 0 over here. Now, coming towards the signal space representation of BFSK. For orthogonal BFSK, the two carriers, they should be orthogonal. In order to make U1 of t and U2 of t orthogonal, the frequencies, that is FH and FL, should be integer multiples of FB. So what is done over here? That means FH is equal to M into FB, whereas FL is equal to N into FB. There are two carrier signals as we have seen, that is U1 of t and U2 of t over here. U1 of t is nothing but under root of 2 by tb cos 2 pi m FB t, whereas U2 of t is under root of 2 by tb sin 2 pi n FB t. So here we can see the difference. That is, instead of FH we are having M into FB, and instead of FL we are having N into FB, where M and N are integers. Now again we can write the equations, that is SH of t and SL of t. SH of t is nothing but under root of PSTB into your carrier, that is under root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi m FBT. Similarly, SL of t is nothing but PSTB under root of PSTB into under root of 2 by TB sin 2 pi NFBT, where 2 pi MFB is omega h, that is angular frequency, higher angular frequency, and the another 2 pi NFB is lower angular frequency over here. So simply we can rewrite this, that is SH of t is nothing but under root of PSTB U1 of t, and SL of t is under root of PSTB U2 of t over here. Using the above equations, we can plot the signal space representation of orthogonal FSK. Here we can see at the x-axis we are having a carrier, that is U1 of t or phi1 of t, both are same. That is nothing but under root of 2 by ts cos 2 pi f1 of t. On the y-axis we are having phi of t, phi2 t. The distance from the signal, that is SL of t, from the 0, it is under root of PSTB, or you can say that it is under root of EB. EB is equal to PSTB, that we know. Similarly, at this side it is SH of t, and it is with the distance that is under root of EB, that is again nothing but under root of PSTB. Now the Euclidean distance you can find out d is equal to under root of 2 PSTB, or it is equal to under root of 2 EB only. And this basically it shows that decision boundary or locus of equidistance point from SH and FLO here. So depending on this, the signal will be selected, that is either 1 is transmitted or 0 is transmitted over here. Now about the error probability is nothing but here half of ERFC under root of 0.6 PSTB divided by NO. So already we have seen the error probability of match filter over here, and with reference to that and by calculating the maximum signal to noise ratio and again solving that, we can easily find out the error probability of error, that is half of ERFC into bracket 0.6 PST divided by NO, whereas PS of T or TB, it is energy E, that is of 1 bit. So we can write this, that is half of ERFC at the root of 0.6 E divided by NO. This is the required expression for the bit error probability of BFSK when match filter is used for the detection. Now we can compare this equation with the probability of error obtained for BPSK, as the ERFC, that is complementary error function, is a monotonic decreasing function. The error probability for BFSK system is higher than that of the BPSK system. This happens because in BPSK, x2 of t is equal to minus x1 of t, whereas in BFSK, this is not the condition. So this is all about FSK system. Now already we have studied ASK, PSK, and for this time FSK. Now we can see the comparison for the same over here. Now in comparison, if we compare binary ASK signal, binary FSK signal or binary PSK signal with the parameters, that is variable characteristic, bandwidth requirement, noise immunity, error probability, complexity, bit rate, and last one, that is detection methods over here. Here we can see, if you go for the first parameter, that is variable characteristics, as the name suggests, it is amplitude for ASK, then it is frequency for FSK, whereas it is phase for BPSK. It's so simple. Next, for the bandwidth requirement, we have observed the frequency spectrums of all the three techniques, that is ASK, FSK, PSK. So from that we can easily observe that the bandwidth of ASK signal and PSK signal is same, that is twice FB. Whereas in case of BFSK or FSK, the bandwidth of this signal is 4 into FB over here. Now, if we consider about noise immunity, noise immunity is very low in case of ASK, for remaining it is very high. So the reason for this is very simple. Why it is high? It's very simple, because noise always affects on the amplitude, and in ASK what is happening? The amplitude of the carrier is changing over here. So obviously here what will be happening? That is the effect of noise is very high. So the noise immunity is very low over here. Now coming to the error probability, we have seen the error probability formulas for each and every technique. So we can easily find out error probability as it depends on the amplitude also. It is very high in case of ASK, and in case of FSK and PSK it is comparatively low. Now coming to the complexity, so it's like inverse thing. Here in ASK the generation is very simple, detection is very simple. Then in as compared to ASK, it is the FSK is moderately complex, and as compared to both these things or both the techniques, the PSK is very complex because phase is changing over here, Then carrier recovery circuits are required. So many blocks, so many devices are used over here to recover the signal again. Now coming for the bit rate over here, for ASK it is suitable up to 100 bits per second, whereas FSK it is suitable up to approximately 1200 bits per second, and binary PSK it is suitable up to high bit rates over here. And the last thing or last parameter, that is detection method. In both the cases, that is in ASK and FSK, envelope detection is used, whereas in PSK coherent detection is used. Because if you remember again, in receiver we are using a carrier recovery circuit over here, which is the carrier should be again same at the transmitter and receiver side. So it's very important thing, that is coherent detection is required in case of BFSK. If you see the performance in presence of noise over here, it is very bad in case of ASK. It is better than ASK for FSK, and for PSK it is better than FSK again. So if you see the noise immunity, actually for PSK and FSK it is very high, but except for your ASK signal. So these are the techniques which we have learned and which we have compared, so that depending on the application we can select that whether to use ASK, FSK or PSK over here. For now, thank you.